All right, everybody, welcome back. We are jumping into another deep dive today. And, well, let's be honest. This one is juicy. We're talking about the Kardashians.
Kardashians, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Love them or hate them, you got to admit.
Oh, yeah.
They are fascinating.
They really are.
And they have built an empire.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're going to be looking at today. How they did it.
Yes.
What it says about fame and wealth. And like modern celebrity.
Yeah, how celebrity has changed, and they're right at the heart of it. Like,
Right.
I think what's so interesting about them is that they kind of represent the shift from, traditional ideas of what makes somebody a celebrity to this new model where it's, I don't know, almost like self-made celebrity.
Self-made.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think is so fascinating, right? Because like when you think about how they first came on the scene, it was with that reality show.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Like, who knew?
Right. Honestly, do you remember when it first premiered?
Oh, yeah.
It was like 2007.
Yeah, something like that.
I watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is just another one of those reality shows.
Right.
You know, just kind of like.
A guilty pleasure.
Yeah, just like trashy fun. I had no idea that it was going to become what it became.
Right. It seemed like it would just be a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be like the foundation for this massive business empire.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so interesting is that they used it so strategically. It wasn't just like, oh, we're just going to film our lives and see what happens.
No, they had a plan.
They had a plan.
At the beginning.
Like, how do we leverage this to build something bigger?
Exactly. And I think to understand how they did it, you have to understand the power of the reality show format. Because it's different from traditional celebrity in that it creates this sense of intimacy with the viewer.
Right.
Like you're getting this behind-the-scenes look at their lives. And it makes you feel like you know them, like they're your friends.
Yeah, and there's that kind of blurring of the lines between public and private.
Exactly.
That you don't get with other celebrities.
Well, you might see them in a movie or on a talk show, but you don't get that same level of access to their everyday lives. And I think that's what the Kardashians really capitalized on.
Totally. And then from that foundation of like the reality show, they expanded. I mean, think about all the different businesses they've gotten into.
Yeah.
Clothing lines.
Makeup lines.
Makeup.
Mobile apps.
Mobile apps. I mean, it's like.
Fragrance lines.
It's crazy how much they've diversified.
Yeah.
And it's all very carefully orchestrated. It's not just like random, oh, let's try this.
They're very strategic.
You're very strategic
about it. And I think a lot of that comes down to Kris Jenner.
Kris Jenner.
The momager.
Oh, yeah. The mom. I mean, she is like the mastermind behind all of this. And she's amazing at turning family drama into profit.
Like it's an art form for her.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But it does make you think a little bit, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Where's the line?
Yeah.
Between, being a supportive parent.
Right.
And exploiting your children.
Yeah. That's the question, isn't it?
For profit.
Is this genius business management? Or is this crossing a line?
Right. And I don't think there's an easy answer.
No.
It's definitely something that's worth considering.
Yeah.
Because it's a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
That we haven't really seen before.
Right. Like, we haven't seen this level of parental involvement in celebrity before. Like, even with child stars, it was usually more about the child's talent.
Right.
And the parents were kind of there to support them. But with the Kardashians, it's like the family itself is the brand.
The whole family.
Yeah.
They've all benefited from it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely blurred those lines between family and business.
Definitely.
In a way that I think is kind of unsettling for some people.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, so let's talk about something else that I think is fascinating about them, which is their ability to turn negative situations into opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're masters at this.
They are.
Think about all the scandals that they've been involved in, the leaked tape, the very public relationships and breakups. I mean, things that would typically derail a career seem to actually boost theirs.
Yeah, it's almost like the more controversial they are, the more famous they become.
It's crazy. So how do they do that?
Well, I think part of it is that they're very good at controlling the narrative.
Okay.
Like they know how to spin things to their advantage, and they're not afraid to use the media to their advantage. Like they're not afraid to leak stories or to stage photo ops or to do whatever it takes to get people talking about them.
Yeah.
Like,
What's interesting, too, is that they don't shy away from controversy.
No.
Like, they lean into it.
Oh.
And I think that's what's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because in the past, celebrities would try to avoid scandals.
Yeah. They would try to keep their private lives private.
Right.
And they would try to maintain this image of perfection. But the Kardashians are different. They're not afraid to be messy. They're not afraid to be real. And I think that's what resonates with people.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because it makes them seem more relatable, more human, even though they're living these incredibly lavish lifestyles.
Right.
And they're incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
There's still this sense of like, oh, they're just like us.
Yeah.
They go through the same drama, the same relationship problems, the same family issues.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to show it.
Exactly.
And I think in a world where we're constantly bombarded with images of perfection, on social media, it's refreshing to see somebody who's not afraid to be flawed.
Totally. So I think another really important aspect of their success is their strategic alliances.
Oh.
They're masters at aligning themselves with other powerful figures.
Yeah, they're always connecting with A-list designers.
Designers, musicians.
Musicians, other influencers.
Other influencers.
Yeah.
Like, they're constantly surrounding themselves with people who can help them elevate their brand.
Exactly.
And I think they understand that in this celebrity hierarchy, who you know matters just as much as what you do.
Yeah, it's all about networking and building relationships with the right people. And I think the Kardashians are really good at that.
They are.
Like, they're not afraid to reach out to people and to build those connections.
And they're not afraid to use those connections to their advantage.
No, like, they're not afraid to ask for favors or to leverage their relationships to get what they want.
And I think that's something that a lot of people can learn from.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people are afraid to network.
Right.
They're afraid to reach out to people who they admire.
Who do they want to work with? Yeah. But the Kardashians show us that there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about building those relationships and using them to your advantage.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things that have contributed to their success, but I think it's important to also consider the ethical implications
for sure.
of their empire.
What is the impact of their influence, especially on young people? Because they're role models for a lot of young people. They're promoting a certain lifestyle that not everybody can attain.
Right.
And that can be damaging for some young people.
What kind of message are they sending about success, beauty, wealth, materialism? So the complex issue.
It is.
I don't think there's an easy answer. No. It's something that we need to be talking about.
Yeah, we need to be having these conversations.
The Kardashians aren't going anywhere. They're only getting bigger.
Yeah, and their influence is only going to grow.
Exactly. So I guess the question is, how do we navigate this?
Yeah.
How do we reconcile our admiration for their business savvy with our concerns about the potential downsides of their brand?
Is it possible to separate the two?
Right.
Can we appreciate what they've accomplished without endorsing everything they stand for?
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's a right answer, but I think it's important to at least be aware of the issues.
Yeah.
And to think critically about the messages that we're consuming, the values that we're promoting.
Yeah, I think that's key.
So I'm curious, what do you think? After looking at all of this, how do you view the Kardashian empire?
That's a good question. I think, on the one hand, they're brilliant business people. Like, they've really mastered the art of self-promotion. And they've built a brand that's incredibly successful. But, on the other hand, I do worry about the impact that they're having
on our culture.
Like, I worry that they're contributing to this culture of narcissism and materialism. And I worry that they're setting unrealistic standards for young people. So
I'm torn. I think they're fascinating. And I think they're incredibly savvy. But I also think that we need to be critical of their influence.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's important to be able to hold both of those ideas in our heads at the same time.
Yeah.
We can admire what they've accomplished without blindly following them, buying into everything they sell.
Yeah.
And I think the most interesting thing about the Kardashians is that they force us to ask ourselves these really difficult questions about
fame,
wealth, influence,
and what it all means in the 21st century.
And that's what makes them so relevant, because they're a reflection of our times. They're forcing us to confront some of the most important issues that we're facing.
Totally. So that's something to think about. I know. I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time.
Me too.
All right. Well, that's our deep dive on the Kardashians.
The Kardashian empire.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
And hope it gave you something to think about.
Yeah.
Until next time.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.